How's it going, Guardians? Shifty here, and today I'm back with another Legend Lost Sector guide. In this one, I'm going to be covering the K1 Logistics Lost Sector on the moon. While the exotic drops are on rotation on the day that I'm dropping this video, the K1 Logistics Lost Sector is dropping exotic head armor, so it's the perfect day to go ahead and get the new exotic helmet for Warlocks. I've been using that new exotic helmet in most of my Arc 3.0 Warlock builds. Before I jump into my loadout and get into the Lost Sector, I want to go over the details for K1 Logistics. So it has Barrier and Overload champions, Void Burn is turned on, there are going to be Arc and Solar shields, and it has the Hot Knife modifier. So in today's video, I am going to show you a full run on a Warlock, but I'm going to try to make my strategy general enough where you can follow it on a Hunter or a Titan as well. And in just a moment, I'm going to be going over my loadout, but before I do that, if you end up enjoying today's video, make sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Alright, so for my loadout in this Legend Lost Sector, I am running a Void subclass. I'm going to be using Nova Bomb on a Warlock. If you're on a Titan, go ahead and use Sentinel Shield or a Bubble, depending on whatever you prefer, and on a Hunter, I would recommend Mobius Quiver. Then for my weapons in my kinetic slot, I have Arbalest. This is going to be for barrier champions, but it also will break any elemental shield regardless of match game. It's all around a great weapon for any sort of content with champions and with match game on. An alternative here is you could use Wishender, which is an excellent weapon that I will be making a video on soon. It's not quite as good at breaking elemental shields, but it's still really solid against barrier champions, and it can do decent damage to those match game shields. In my energy slot, I do have the Solar Bow Strident Whistle. This was the Vanguard bow from last season. I'm going to be using this for the Overload champions and to break the Solar shields in this Lost Sector. If you don't have this bow, you can use pretty much any other bow for the Overload champions. However, if you don't have another Solar bow, you're going to struggle against the Solar shielded Shanks, and you're going to have to rely on Arbalest a little bit more there. Then in my heavy slot, I do have the new Void Linear Fusion Rifle that anybody can craft if you go and get the quest from the Enclave. This is actually a really solid weapon, and it's going to benefit from Void Burn, so I highly recommend using something like this. Now overall, your exotic armor choice shouldn't matter too much. You can pretty much use whatever since I'm making this run general, but for my armor mods, I'll just quickly show you each piece of armor, and if you need to see anything in more detail, just pause the video. Alright, and that does it for my loadout in this one. Now, let's get right into the run. Alright, so right off the bat, I'm going to head off to the left here. I'm going to deal with some of these enemies off to the left real quick. There's a few invisible marauders that push up here. Just going to use my bow on those real quick. Here comes another one. I'm actually going to backtrack just a little bit, and since I'm using Arbalest, I can go ahead and take out this barrier champion. I want to try to avoid the snipers, of course. And the barrier champion is down. And I misclicked my melee ability. But now that the barrier champion is down, I'm free to take out a bunch of the enemies over there. I'm going to toss a vortex grenade. See if I get anything in it, which I did not. There is going to be an arc shielded captain off to the right. There it is. And 2 Arbalest shots was enough to take it out. If you didn't know, Arbalest can break any elemental shield with ease, even with match game. Some people do not actually know that, and that's why it's such a great weapon for stuff like this. Not only is it an anti-barrier weapon, but it also breaks any sort of elemental shield with match game on. I'm just kind of slowly taking out the enemies there. Go for the ones up top as well. There's a sniping Shank. Alright, and I cleared out most of the enemies there. Make sure everything's reloaded. Take out some additional Shanks right around the corner here. I'm going to push forward a little bit. This will spawn a bunch of exploding Shanks. As you could hear, there's an Overload champion off to the left there. Trying to avoid the grenade spam currently. I'm going to push off to the left. I'm going to try to take this Vandal out. Now it's unshielded. And now let's go for this barrier champion. Toss a vortex down there. And I do have a Vandal right on top of me. Finish that enemy off. There should not be too many enemies left. Of course, we have this overload. I stunned it. I'm going to swap to my new Void Linear Fusion Rifle. This was just released this season, and it is available to everyone. You can get a quest to be able to craft this pretty easily at the Enclave. Alright, now we can move on to the boss fight. So as you may have noticed, I haven't used all that much in terms of heavy ammo. I can of course use that heavy ammo on the boss. If you're on a Titan or a Hunter, you can do that as well. Since I am on a Warlock, I'm going to go ahead and use a Nova Bomb on the boss when the time comes. On a Hunter, you can use Mobius Quiver. On a Titan, Sentinel Shield isn't going to work too well, but you could always use a Bubble and then use your Linear Fusion Rifle. So that Overload champion is dead. There's going to be a few wretches around the corner here. Alright. Now that we're in the boss room, there's going to be some enemies that spawn off to the right. You can also see a barrier champion down low. A bow makes an excellent weapon here because you can just take out all these enemies at range. And now I'm going to go for this barrier with my Arbalist. Arbalist made quick work. And now you're going to see a bunch of shanks that spawn near the boss. The solar bow makes quick work of those as well. Just kind of trying to clear out some of the adds in the area. You can see the boss is now spawned. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kill myself with my super. So I don't recommend doing that. Dying doesn't affect your chances at an exotic, so don't worry too much about it if you do. But now I can show you exactly what to do if you don't have a super that you can use on the boss like that. You can just go ahead and use your Linear Fusion Rifle. Alright, that Nightmare Shank is dead. Try to take this captain out so it stops harassing me. Alright, let's try to get an angle on the boss now. Might as well grab the Nightmare Orb while I'm over here. Give me a little bit of extra damage on the boss. And the boss is going to end up over here. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, you can always kill all these enemies and then go for the chest. Since I already took the boss out and I'm right by the chest, I'm going to go ahead and grab it and finish the Lost Sector off. But there we have it. That was a K1 Logistics Legend Lost Sector run on a Warlock, but I tried to make the run as general as possible so you can follow it on a Titan and a Hunter as well. Now, of course, this Lost Sector is longer than some of the other ones, but once you get the hang of it, it shouldn't be too bad if you're looking to farm some exotics. With that said, I just want to thank you for watching today's video, and I'll catch you on the next one.